Good morning students, welcome to the class. We are doing chapter 2 of Political Science class 10th and the name of the chapter is Federalism. In today's session we will cover following topics: India as a federal country, 2-tier and 3-tier system, and sharing of power between union and state government. India had emerged as an independent nation after a painful and bloody partition. Early after independence, several princely states became a part of the country. The constitution declared India as a union of states. Although it did not use the word federation, the Indian Union is based on the principles of federation. The 2-tier system of government. The constitution originally provided a 2-tier system of government: the union government or the central government, and the second one is the state government. Then we have a 3-tier system of government. A 3rd tier of federalism was added later in the form of panchayat and municipalities. The constitution clearly provided a 3-fold distribution of legislative power between the union government and the state government. It contained 3 lists. First is union list, second is state list, and third is the concurrent list. First we discuss about the union list. It includes subject of national importance like defense, foreign affairs, banking, communication and currency, as we need the uniform policies on these matters throughout the country. The union government alone can make laws related to the subject mentioned in this list. Second, we have the state list. It contains subject of state and local importance like police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. The state government alone make laws related to the subject mentioned in the state list. Third, we have concurrent list. It includes subject of common interest to both the union and the state government like education, forest, trade, union, marriage, adoption and succession. Both the union and the state government can make laws on these subjects. If their laws conflict with each other, the law made by the union government will prevail. The leftover subject which do not fall in any of the 3 lists, that is union, state and concurrent list, like computer software that came up after the constitution was made, are known as residuary subjects. Union government has the power to legislate on these residuary subjects. Now we discuss the status of union territories. There are some unit of Indian Union which enjoy very little power. These are areas which are too small to become an independent state but which could not be merged with any of the existing states. These areas like Chandigarh, Lakshadweep or the capital city of Delhi are called union territories. These territories do not have the power of the state. The central government has special power in running these areas. Union territories are thus constitutionally recognized segment of the Indian polity. They are directly under the control of centre and are thus also called centrally administered territories. They represent a unique relationship in the federal setup of India. Next we have sharing of power between union and state government. Our constitution determines the extent of the sharing of power between the union government and the state government, and it is the basic structure of the constitution. The parliament alone cannot change this. Any change to it has to be first passed by both the houses of parliament with at least 2/3 majority. Then it has to be ratified by the legislature of at least half of the total states. In case of any disputes regarding the division of powers, the High Court and the Supreme Court make a decision. Both union and state government have the power to raise resources by levying taxes in order to carry off the government and the responsibility assigned to each of them. That's it with today's session. In tomorrow's class, we will discuss how is federalism practiced, linguistic states, language policy, center-state relationship. Till then, take care. Goodbye.